We're in Singapore and we're here to eat.
We can't wait to show you some of the best local food this island has to offer. The national pastime in Singapore is eating, and why wouldn't it be when the food is so delicious and diverse? This is our third video from Singapore, and we're travelling all over the island to show you the best local food. Watch out for foods you'll find nowhere else, the best chicken rice on the island, and a whole lot more. In this 4-part series, we're hunting down authentic Singaporean food and eating where the locals eat. You don't want to miss this series. Get ready for some mouth-watering food.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Sheena, and we're chasing a plate.
We hope you're hungry. Let's eat.
With this Singapore food series, besides showing you the classic Singaporean dishes, we want to show you some more unusual local foods. So foods that you might not have seen before. We're at our first stop and we've come to a food centre and we're here to eat soup tulang merah, which is red bone soup. This is a crazy dish. Let's go and get some.
Oh my god.
We've got our soup tulang merah in front of us and oh, it looks good. And how crazy is the colour? It is a bright red. So what the dish is basically just mutton bones that have been cooked for hours and hours and then coated with this red gravy. There's a little bit of cabbage covered over the top, and then there's some sliced French stick to go with it. So basically you just dip the French stick into that gravy. Now with this dish, it is all about the marrow, and it's a messy dish. It's a fun dish to eat. You really got to get in with your hands. So that's what I am going to do. I'm going to get this one here, which has a lot of meat on it still, and just get right in. Oh yeah. Man, that meat is beautiful. The gravy has a tiny bit of spice, but overall it's quite sweet, very flavoursome. I'm going to try and get some of this marrow out. So I can see it hiding in there. It's been cooking for so long, the marrow should just slip right out of the bone. Oh man, it just dissolved in my mouth. It was so meaty and flavoursome. This dish is uniquely Singaporean. It was created by the mamak community, so the Indian Muslim community in the 1950s, and this is just one of the most unique dishes we've ever found in Singapore. We first ate at this stall a couple of years ago. Our friend brought us here, and I've never forgotten the taste of this meal. Oh man. Okay. The mutton, it has such a beautiful flavour. It literally is just falling off the bone. There's a lot of really soft tendon in there as well. Oh man. Oh, it's so good. If you've seen our other videos, you'll know that I'm really into just this type of food. So dishes that are made from every bit of the animal, the scraps, the bones. I'm really into this type of eating. Let's just grab some of this French stick, dip that in the gravy. Alright. Super soft bread. That gravy's got a quite a strong tomatoey flavour. There is absolutely no way to eat this dish gracefully, but I don't think I did too badly. And every bit of meat and tendon has been stripped off of that bone, and the marrow too. Oh, this was such a good time. Singapore is a really multicultural society, and that diversity is reflected in its food culture. We're standing in line at our next spot waiting for an apam, which is a South Indian dish.
I've got one great looking apam here. So it's from a store called Heavens, which is really popular here in this food center, and it looks unreal. So an apam is a rice flour pancake essentially. It's made up of fermented rice flour and a whole lot of coconut milk. And this one has the addition of an egg, which is just under there, and a whole lot of processed cheese dumped on top. So it gets put in a small shallow pan. It's a very, very runny batter, watery batter, so she just rolls it around the pan, chucks the lid on, and it cooks very quickly because it's incredibly thin. And this is the house specialty from Heaven. So this one comes with the egg and the cheese, but also a whole lot of shredded coconut and a whole lot of this orange sugar, which is just really finely granulated gula melaka, but it's dyed orange, and it's dyed orange just to give the dishes a bit of color. The orange doesn't have any flavor or anything like that. So this apam can come with multiple things, curries and dal and whatnot, but we went with the house specialty. So I'm gonna rip in because there's this egg underneath here. I think it'll probably be a solid egg, yeah, so look at that. So it's not a runny egg under there, and then the cheese all breaks up. But let's just break it up a little bit. It's nice and crunchy on that edge. I want to get a bit from the center. Okay, there we go. And then we can get a bunch of shredded coconut on there as well. It's quite tricky. Let's go spoon action. So we'll put some sugar on top, shredded coconut, apam. Oh wow. It has got a beautiful flavor. That shredded coconut is really strong. It's not super dry, that shredded coconut, so it's fresh, I think. They've ground it fresh. It's got a really strong burst of coconut flavor. And then you get a real salty and sweet balance from the savory side and the sugar side. You can see in the center, it's kind of a bit more built up. It's a little bit spongier in there, a little bit thicker, and then it's super crispy on the edges. I'm gonna grab some more from the center because that processed cheese has such a lovely saltiness to it. Now, I'm not a huge fan of processed cheese, to be honest, but it works quite well in these dishes, which are pretty unusual. Oh, the egg is really creamy, and the flavors just work really well. So you got a really strong hit of savory, and then a really strong hit of sweet. This is a super good dish. This is a really, really great hawker center, which we come to every time we're in Singapore. It's got a lot of selection and a lot of really high quality hawker stalls.
And it is set right in the heart of a public housing block. It's called Ghim Moh. And one stall that we absolutely love and that we eat at every time we come to Singapore is the one behind us. It serves Hainanese chicken rice, which is the national dish of Singapore. You can't come here and not eat that dish.
And I reckon this is the best Hainanese chicken rice you'll find in Singapore.
Hello, y'all can take it.
They say that the national pastime is queuing for food, and that was a long queue. We waited about 45 minutes for our portions of chicken rice, but it's gonna be worth it. Let me show you what we've got. So this here is the Hainanese chicken. So it's just poached chicken. It's in a bit of a soy sauce broth. And then this here is the oily rice. We've got some condiments. This is minced ginger, and then some chili, and then just some chicken soup. Now, in Singapore, the most important component of Hainanese chicken rice is not actually the chicken. It is in fact the rice. The rice is supposed to be really oily and fragrant, and it's cooked in the poaching stock, along with things like pandan leaves and ginger and garlic. And when you go up to the stall, you're hit with a wave of those aromatics. It's so fragrant, really, really strong. The Hainanese cook their chicken in a really specialized way. So what they do is they poach the chicken whole, and then once it's cooked, they whip it out, dunk it in cold water, and then they hang it to dry, and it becomes really silky. But enough talking, let's get in. I'm just going to compose the ultimate mouthful. So I've got a lot of that oily rice. Let's get a bit of chicken on there, a piece with some skin. Get on there, and then I'm going to pop some ginger and then some chili on there as well. Holy moly, it's simple perfection. Every element is just perfectly cooked. The rice is really separate, so the grains are really loose, full of flavor, really moist. You can see that the rice is like glistening with oil. And then the chicken is melt in your mouth. The flesh is really tender and silky and moist. The skin was really silky. You got the hit of the ginger and then that slight zing of the chili. It is perfection. I'm gonna go for just a bite of rice with nothing else and see what it tastes like. Eat that on its own. It's got so much flavour. It's infused with a really subtle chickeny flavour. It's really oily, really moist. Oh, so good. We're zipping all over Singapore today to find the best renditions of these local dishes, and the next snack that we're having is a uniquely Singaporean food. It's called Quay tutu, and it's a sweet snack. These little beauties are the Quay tutus. Look at this, we ordered two flavours. One filling is gula melaka, which is coconut palm sugar and coconut, and then the other one hiding in there is crushed peanuts and a little bit of sugar, and they're sitting on a pandan leaf. So the cake is really simple. It's just made up of a rice flour that's been really finely ground, and then it's filled, steamed, and then popped onto the leaf. I'm just going to get in really quickly and eat this because it's best to eat them when they're straight from the steamer, still really hot. So fragrant. The cake mixture, so the rice flour mixture, is a little bit chewy, a little bit sticky, but very soft. And then the inside is just beautiful and caramelized and sweet and a little bit smoky even. And this is true heritage food. So the lady who's manning the stall, it's actually her father's recipe. He started selling kueh tutu in the 1930s on the streets of Singapore, just on a little, by a little street cart. It's incredible, such a great snack.
It is really neat watching these being made. So it's a very quick process. You take some of the rice flour mixture, chuck it on the little mold, put in whatever filling you have. There is an original version also which has no filling. Once the filling is in, chuck some more of that rice flour on, and then it has a little cloth put on it, and it gets chucked on the steamer, and it's not on that steamer for very long. So it's in some beautiful little stainless steel molds, and that's what gives it this sort of flower looking shape once it comes out of the mold. Although it kind of looks like a tutu, but that's not why it's called Quay tutu. It's called Quay tutu because of a sound that the charcoal used to make on the original steamer when it was a charcoal driven steamer. But this is the peanut one. It's so light, that outside, not too sweet, and the peanut mixture, having watched it being put in when she was cooking it, I thought it was going to be really dry. It's actually a little bit sticky, like wet and sticky. Unreal. This is such a sort of a classic street snack, one of those unusual dishes you don't see very much, but has been around for a very long time. The sort of thing we absolutely love to track down and show you guys on this channel.